Hello, lovely ladies. This is Keri Blair with Style Your Dreams, and I'm so excited that you're back for another episode because today is going to be an amazing one. So listen up. I have an amazing guest with me today. Her name is Sarah Love, and that exemplifies who she is pure love. And I wanted Sarah to come on the podcast with me. So Sarah has been doing energy work, healing work, deep spiritual work with me for the past 3 months or so, and it's been unbelievable. And for those of you who don't know, I've been on a spiritual path since my 20s, and I've worked with many healers and many energy workers, and I noticed right away there's something different about Sarah, and I want you to get to know her and who she is. And, you know, if this is on your journey to work with her, then she's available to you. So, Sarah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Tell us in your words who you are and what you do.
Well, first, I have my dog Stella here. So let me invite her in because she might make some noise, and let that be okay. Because today's conversation is going to be about releasing control and the difference between control and power. So what I do is whatever needs to be done for the person, the situation, the industry, the business, whatever area I'm working in, to transform so that people can elevate their way of being and how they show up for themselves, how they show up for others, and how they show up for life. And I'm going to open that door, which is actually very symbolic. Stella, my dog, is standing by the door crying. We're at a hotel right now, and this is very symbolic because this opening of this door for today's conversation is for all of you who are watching to fully experience what transformation feels like, what it looks like, how it occurs, and you will feel the essence of who I am if you are watching this fully present and
What
ready
about
to
listening?
go. Or listening. Yes,
Okay.
definitely listening. The words are very powerful.
Great.
Words in power create a world. So when we speak, we manifest. When we speak from our power and our truth, we manifest what we desire. If we speak from anything that is not who we are, we manifest what we do not desire. So words are actually very important. So if you're listening, if you're watching, even if you're like doing other things, but your subconscious is taking this in, and you will be taking it in.
Very powerful.
Very powerful.
Very
My
powerful.
voice alone will start to change things for you. Give me 10
So
seconds.
as you open the door, one thing that I really want to point out is that I love what you said about how you work in all the different realms. I noticed that there's sometimes where there's work that you do with me that's on a conscious level, like right here and now, the things that I'm working on, having a breakthrough in business or in a relationship or what have you. But the thing that's most fascinating, maybe the fascinating is not the right word, but the thing that goes deeper is the energy and healing work that you do that I don't know that I need. And I think that's super powerful because there's so much that's always cluttering our space and always in the background from, I don't know, this life, previous lives, like whatever you believe in, that's always running the show. And I love that you can see those things and impact those things, even if I don't know they're impacting me. So like my soul comes to you and says, hey, she needs an upgrade on this.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
I love that.
Well, I do work in the unconscious realm. So what is very powerful about my work is that I literally will step into people's unconscious minds, and I will full on experience often what they're dealing with, what they've been through. And this is a very difficult gift. Let me rephrase that. This used to be a very difficult gift. I've embraced it. I love it. I'm crazy about it. It's mind-blowing to me every moment of my life. I live in awe
Can we just stop there for a second?
Yeah.
Can you share how you got your gift?
Yeah.
And like
Yep.
what was life like before? Who
Yep.
are you? And then how you got your gift.
Yes, and before I do that, guys, if you see me moving my neck a lot, I am literally removing what looks like these plugs, almost like where you'd plug in your phone in the back of my neck, because the neck especially is where people are holding on to control. And as I'm doing this
Like
podcast,
me.
every person, well, you're holding space for all of their transformation. So I'm working through her energy for you guys to transform, because you are her audience, right?
Yeah.
So that's the power of you that you're holding for the collective and for your people.
Yeah.
In so many ways. She's such a big space that I clear so much for her all the time. But in the back of my neck there, it feels like a plug, and this plug is outdated. I'm able to energetically remove these old plugs, these old connections, these old ways of communicating, these old ways of being that no longer serve you or humanity, and actually keep us stuck in control, which has no power. Control has, and I'm going to answer your question in a minute.
Yeah.
Control has no function on our planet. None. Like, the divine does not hear control. You speak from anything that is not of your highest light and your highest good. The universe will not listen. Or it will listen in a way that is negative. Now, even with Stella right now, like, Keri, she wants the podcast, I'm going to go here, to be very, right? It's got to look a certain way. It's got to be a certain way. Stella's in the room. Stella's my French bulldog. I'm going to show you her in a second. I don't operate that way because I'm in my full essence. I'm in my full being of who I am. I flow. And yes, the way you look and the way that you show up is important, and I admire that about Keri. There's a lot of that is truth and very important for her audience and for the world, and even for branding, which she's going to be helping me with more. And yet there's this power in being able to operate from not having to design something your way. The divine is not your way. In fact, the divine is the divine's way, and it's our job to surrender to the divine. I'm going to answer your question after I grab her.
Yeah. So we're going to get into how Sarah does what she does. But I know, given that we're having a conversation about control, I know that's one of my biggest areas to work on. And so I love that we're bringing this to the podcast and for all of you, because I'm sure someone listening is also dealing with this. But control can limit the flow, does always limit the flow of what's possible in life. And here is her French bulldog. If you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, then you'll just know that
Stella's my superstar. She's a very important part of my life. She's a very important part of my company. She has taught me how to surrender. So I know everybody loves French bulldogs, so I'm just going to introduce her for 1 minute, because Sarah and Stella go hand in hand in many ways, just like Keri and Stella go hand in hand.
We love our Stellas, right?
Stella's our stars.
She is.
So,
what were you doing before? How did you have what was your transformation to this gift? And there you go.
So I went through a very difficult period of my life where I was married and I was madly in love. Never, ever thought I'd get divorced. My name was Melissa. I changed my name to Sarah Love when I fully became her. And I got the name Sarah Love from my soul, and that I was going to be a space of love for the planet, amongst other things. When I went through this difficult time, I had a series of heartbreaks that were tremendous for me. I went through a divorce. I lost my way. Let's say it that way. I lost my way. My twin sister, my identical twin, went through a very hard time. And when she went through it, I went down the road with her because I wanted to save her. I wanted to be the one who could bring her back, and I couldn't save her. That's not my job to save her. And that's how God designs everything. The one that we want to save, the one that we want to help is normally the one that we can't, no matter how gifted we are, because we can't interfere with God's plan. So I left my family and I was picked up and brought into a new life, is how it felt. And I was devastated. When I love so deeply, and it's been very difficult to learn how to let go, being someone who has such a big heart and is such a giver by nature. So I went on this journey and I learned how to receive and how to love myself and how to heal such brokenness. I mean, my heart cracked into a million pieces. It was my husband and my twin. Plus, I left my family. I was super close to my mom. She was like my best friend. Everyone was my best friend. And I always had a gift of making people feel good. People were around me. Everything was always better in my presence. Things would always work out in my presence. You know, they used to call me Sweet Melissa. Sarah is not so sweet. Sarah can be very intense. She's very direct, very powerful, very intentional. My inner child, Melissa, is very sweet, very giving, very generous, very loving. And I've learned to integrate them both because I am both of them and I really don't care what people call me at the end of the day.
Okay, can I interrupt you for a
Yeah,
minute?
go for
Because I
it.
know people are going to be confused.
Yeah.
So I want to bring clarity. So, because some people who have never experienced a spiritual healer, energy worker, and there are some transformations that you go through. So first of all, what I know to be true is that every powerful spiritual energy healer in the world goes through an awakening period, like a dark night of the soul.
Yeah, resurrection.
Resurrection.
Yep.
So this is no different than other people, which is great. But I want people to get, when they hear you call yourself Melissa and then Sarah, this is not a multiple personality person.
No.
So this is someone.
Although we all have multiple personalities if we've embraced them, because we are complex and multidimensional beings at the end of the day.
Yes.
So go ahead.
So you were living this life
Yes.
as Melissa.
Yes.
And then, if I can say this, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had to shed Melissa to become Sarah.
Yes.
That doesn't mean Melissa's not in you somewhere.
No.
because you
I am
spent
Melissa.
however many years.
Again, I am Melissa.
Yeah.
But I changed my name to Sarah, and it wasn't just a name change.
Yeah.
I resurrected into something new.
Yeah.
Right? It was a new life.
Like a butterfly.
Yeah. I was the caterpillar. Melissa, who I am, was the caterpillar, you know, fighting against the encasing or whatever that thing is called, the chrysalis. Yeah, something like that. And then when I became the butterfly, I started to hear. I started to see, I started to feel, and I started to know. And what I actually felt first. So I began to feel on a level that I had never felt energy. And I was actually very sick, and I always felt, but I didn't know that I was feeling so much until I awoke.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to point to is, from what you said, is that there's so many levels of, there's like clairvoyance, clairsentience, all of the clairs.
Yep.
And you seem to embody all of them.
Yes.
At once. So how did that gift, how did that come about?
I started to feel first. I was
Were
always
you doing some transformational work? Or did you just one day you felt
I
something
was
that you
doing
weren't
work on
feeling?
myself. I was really deeply searching for something, you know, being an identical twin and feeling that kind of loss and knowing that I had to go in a different direction. You have no choice but to look in.
Yeah.
Because it's so painful. I mean, and Meredith is, you know, my twin is alive. She's just finding her path. But there was a death, right? There was a loss so deep that I had no choice but to look within. And I started to, you know, I'd always been into spirituality. I was a yogi since I was 18. Yoga is like my staple. I was always doing breath work. I was a yoga therapist for 12 years. I was a bartender out of college. I went to school for nutrition and fitness. I was a bartender. I was a personal trainer, but a bartender out of college. And I never drank. And I used to heal people at the bar. Like I always helped people. I always helped people. My life. I wrote a book, a children's book called Best Friends Forest. And the book is about living in best friend's forest, the friendliest forest that you know. So this work for me isn't different, except I have a different expression of it. It is more of an energetic conversation now because energy contains the emotional, the physical, the mental, the financial, our relationships, how we live, how we think, how we see ourselves. Energy is everything. We are energy. It's the makeup of who we are.
I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
Like every single thing is energy.
Yeah.
And if you think it's not, you're fooling yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
And then people think, oh my God, this person's like out there, or this is crazy, or this is wild. But that's just your ego trying to make sense of something that you cannot make sense of. You cannot make sense of love. Love is the messiest thing on the planet. It's the hardest freaking journey you will ever go through. It's the most blissful, most beautiful, and most courageous journey that you could ever walk. And I had love that broke so deeply that I had no choice but to look within and heal myself. This gift emerged out of nowhere. I don't know how I became who I am. All I know is that I am highly gifted to the point where it can threaten people because they're egos. And ego is basically just the part of you that wants to fight your truth. Every moment, the ego is designed to keep you small. The ego is designed to make you feel separate. It's designed to make you feel alone. It is the control that you deal with. It is your ego. My job is to, at the end of the day, disrupt and destroy the ego and to help you awaken into who you are, to help you become who you're meant to be and step into your purpose, your mission. Your financial abundance is a huge piece of this journey, to embody health, to live the life that you desire without question and without having to make sense of it.
Yeah. And I think something that's really powerful about that is most of the time when you're on a spiritual journey, and that could be anything. That could be like you pick up a book that has you see something about yourself that you never saw about yourself. So it doesn't have to be that you're a yoga person. It doesn't have to mean that you meditate every day. It could just be you want to realize a part of yourself that you've never realized. And that could look any different way. It could mean making a new friend who opens up something in you. So please know that spirituality can be very broad spectrum.
Yeah, and I love where you're going with all of these topics, if I can just add to that, because
Please.
there's so much.
I know.
People are like, oh, I need to meditate for hours to be spiritual, or I need to do yoga every day, or I need to, like, there are no rules.
None.
Like
whatever makes you feel good.
Whatever makes you feel good.
It could be like Sarah and I just went for a walk in nature and saw a ton of hummingbirds.
Oh my God,
that
it
was
was
a
amazing.
spiritual experience for me. And
Yes.
the beautiful flowers and the beautiful hummingbirds. And
Yes.
that is powerful and changes your day.
Yes. Well, when people talk, it's funny because to me, I live in a heightened state every moment of every day. Every moment. And I don't try. Spiritual, you don't try to be spiritual, guys. We are spiritual. Have spirits. We have souls. We are spiritual beings all the time.
I think if anything, it's trying to get rid of our ego so that we can be present to
Yes.
that we're spiritual beings.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the way to get rid of the ego isn't by trying to get rid of it, because that's the ego trying to
Right.
escape itself.
Makes sense.
It's through surrender. It's through surrendering so deeply in yourself that you're willing to shed all that you are not. And take a look at the shit, at the crap, at the pain, at the hardships that lie within humanity. You know, all humans. It's funny, I just thought of landmark. All humans are assholes, right? It's like, no, all humans are humans. And Jason always says this, my partner, because he's such a huge part of who I am. in the space that he holds, but he always says, "It's okay, honey. It's all okay, honey. What's wrong with that, honey? What's wrong with that?" Right? Like there's a dead bird outside. The cat just picked up. Oh my God, like we have to save the bird. Like I save lives. I can literally
I was
help.
talking to you on the phone that day.
Yes. That's probably why I'm bringing it up.
Mic down.
Mic down.
Okay.
Perfect timing with the dead bird. But that's hilarious. This is funny. But the dead bird, to me is fine. I can be with it, but I know how to help heal things that are sick, that are dying, that are not well, as long as the soul is on board. And
our souls know what we don't know. I really want to point to that. So there are times when Sarah will reach out to me and say, your soul is right here and really wants me to work on you about this. And I'm, in my human experience, I'm like, I'm not having an issue with that.
Right.
Right. And then once it's cleared up, I can see something.
Right. So the information that comes through me comes from the future. So I think this is really important to talk about. So my soul, Source is going to move Jason. So I'll speak to God like I just did Source. And I just asked for them to move Jason's soul from the space because there's something a little off right now that he's dealing with that he probably doesn't even know he's dealing with. And the mic fell when I talked about him. Mm-hmm. Stella's barking. There's a little bit of this imbalance energy that's here for him, and I can ask Source or the angelic realm because I work with the angels, I work with God. It's not woo woo, it's real.
It's kind of
I
woo-woo.
work with the light. It is woo woo. It is. I hear myself and I'm like, huh?
You're like, yes, it is. It's just normal for you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't occur like woo woo to you because it's like the water you swim in.
Yes.
But for people outside, they're like, you talk to angels and God. I've been talking to angels and God like my whole life.
Yeah.
But for other people, that is out there.
Yeah.
And I swear, if you just embrace that there are helpers for you, and sometimes they're in the physical form like Sarah, and sometimes they're in the non-physical form like angels and God. Like life is transformational.
Yes. We have support. Mm-hmm. And if we can allow that support in, again, guys, without judging it, without making it wrong, because again, that's the ego. Mm-hmm. We judge everything. And if we can let go of those judgments and stop thinking it's weird or it's out there, my older sister used to go, "You're so weird," before I even became Sarah.
Yeah.
"You're so weird." And now she's like, "I do yoga every day and I think of you. I've been doing transcendental meditation and I think of you." And I don't do, I don't feel the need for any of that, but she's just like, "You brought me to this place." Because at some point, all of humanity is going to have to wake up. The world is going through a major transformation, and we have two choices. We can continue to create more addiction, stuff ourselves with food, drink ourselves to death, do drugs, overly abuse sex, hate ourselves, punish ourselves, be disconnected, hide, live on the TV. And there's nothing wrong with a little bit of all of that. Balance. Or we can wake the fuck up, excuse my language.
Okay.
And we can really start to take a hard look at ourselves and decide that it is time to change. The essence of who we are never changes, but the ego needs to take a back seat. And it's up to us to step forward. So this may be weird for you, and that's okay. You can have those judgments. That's okay. But it's up to you to decide that the light must override the dark, because at the end of the day, the light is the most powerful force besides love on this planet. And my work with the angelic realm is about light. My work with God is about light. And you have healers all over the world, and no one can tap into the source and the wellspring of light that I can. I've been told this for 25 years, and I now have fully embodied who I am. I come from the future. my soul gets information about the future of humanity. My job is to lead humanity to a brighter, better, and more fulfilled destiny. We are heading in the wrong direction. It's all serving a purpose. We have to get lost to get found. It's part of that inward journey. However, my job is to support you as a bridge to go to the promised land, to bridge heaven on earth, to bring you back to who you once were many moons ago, whether you believe in that or not, and to help you remember who you are and why you're here. Why the hell else would we be put on this planet? Besides to enjoy and have pleasure, yes. But guys, it's not all about joy and pleasure. It is about awakening. It is about surrendering so deep that your heart gets so big, because those heartbreaks that I went through expanded my love. I'm able to love the whole earth now, not just my husband in my past. Go ahead.
So I just want to point to.
Sorry, I went on a tangent.
Oh, I love it. Go on tangents, girl. I just want to point to also, I feel like a lot of people don't trust synchronicities in life. We call them coincidences, but they aren't. So one thing I want to point to is if you're listening and you're still listening 26 minutes into this podcast, you're listening for a reason. And just notice that. I how I came to find Sarah is someone had posted a very, I don't know, insignificant thing on Instagram. And I happened to get drawn to it, even though it was completely insignificant. And then it said, Sarah Love, at Sarah Love. And I went, well, who's that? And I got curious. And then I looked at your profile page and I was like, oh, I really vibe with her. I like her. And I sent you a DM that just said, hi.
I don't remember, but yes.
It was like, hi. I think I said like your vibe, couldn't find out more information about what you do, would love to hear more. And I had no idea who you are or what you did. I just knew I was attracted to it.
Yeah.
And I'm someone who's had to train myself to trust those. There really are no coincidences and there are no, yes, synchronicities, but I learned to trust them. And so when I see someone that I vibe with or whatever, I'm not afraid to just say, hi.
Yeah.
Hi. So if you're someone that's listening and there's something that's caught your attention, I just invite you to trust it and keep listening. So we originally said we were going to talk about
Control. And we're going to go back there in 10 seconds, but can I add to what you just said?
Please.
I will trigger everything that is not trust in you. I will bring out the very best of you, and I will help you remove the very worst of you.
True that.
And so trust, people always say, if I've learned anything from you, Sarah, it's trust. Trust. Like this is a trust walk. And it's not just a trust walk like spiritually, it's a trust walk financially to work with me. And the design of my soul is to trigger financial blockages, financial hardships, financial karma, things that you've dealt with financially. All of your relationship with money will come up with me as well, because I am holding space for money and love. And now we'll go into control and power.
What do we want to say? I want to hear what you have to say about, because this is as you know, but I have had control issues my entire life because of different traumas that have happened. And, so everything it could be as minor as like making sure this microphone is like right there. Perfect.
Yes.
Now the sound, perfect. Or it could be as deep as like trying to control my husband or my daughter or, my employees or what have you. So it could be small and it could be big. And I've taken a lot of leaps and bounds, but there's always more. So talk about
Yeah,
control.
you are expanding and you are moving beyond the frequency of control. That's part of what our meeting is about, and why we're here together in person. This is a huge transformation for Keri, and she will experience it when she's home. I'm going to move an energy on the left side. So if you see me move something, move my neck, I'm just moving an energy that doesn't need to be there. Okay, let's talk about the difference between control and power. I like to shut my eyes sometimes. I'm going to start with the conversation of boundaries. Boundaries are so big, right? It's such a big conversation, especially on Instagram. Like, set your boundary, girl. You got to have boundaries. Shut that. Get rid of that person. Get rid of this person.
Although the very nature of being on Instagram is lack of boundaries.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
So
like someone's all in your space.
yeah, it's an imbalance.
Yeah.
So this is where this conversation needs to happen. This is a really important conversation. So I'm going to ask that you guys are really, really present for this. And a lot of mother energy is showing up instantly, because mothers tend to be very controlling out of fear of loss, fear of the future, fear of letting go. And something that I teach a lot is how to have boundaries with your parents, but especially your mom, because there's so much collectively. There's a lot of pain here, so I'm just pushing it aside, around mothers and boundaries and pain, and the old generation not understanding how to let go. Most people in this day and age are cutting out people when they're not meant to be cut out. Boundaries can look like shutting an old door and stepping away from a relationship that does not serve you. But you have to know the timing of when to step away from someone. Control doesn't understand timing. The divine timing of things is so vital, because if we do something too quickly, it can cause a lot of trauma and a lot of pain. For instance, I just had to have a tooth removed, and it was a really hard experience for me, because I have to get a lift and do all this stuff, but there was an infection on my sinuses, and I knew it was there, and it was connected to the land. This will sound woo-woo, but it was connected to the land in Colorado, and I got the message a year and a half ago that I was going to have this removed, that there was going to be an infection. It's linked to the land, and I was going to be doing all this healing. Part of this journey is surrendering, and I like to look good. I like to feel good about the way I look. I take care of myself. I am in balance with my food. If I want to have fries, I have fries. If I want to have pizza, I have pizza. But I'm also 100% organic most of the time. When I'm at home, 100% organic. And food is really an important part of my life. I grew up very healthy. My families are vegan and raw. It's very intense. And I had to break free of those judgments and that body image and that whole world to find my balance and what my body wants in that moment. Part of that control is body-oriented for humanity. So I'm bouncing around. We got boundaries. Okay. We got body image. We could go on and on. Money, men. It's all control until it's power. Control, by the way, is very sticky. It's very intense. It's very forceful. It's very powerless. It has no power. It's weak.
Usually when I experience control, it's because I'm feeling out of control.
Yes. Because the ego is going through a difficult moment there. It's wrestling. And so it gets vicious.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm going to hold on right now.
Yeah. And then it becomes forceful.
Yes.
Yeah. Instead of
divinely timed, right? Even the timing of when we drink water, the timing of when we wake up in the morning, the timing of what we say to someone and why we say it. But actually, if there's no ego, you don't even have to know why you're saying something. You just know how to say it. It's like when I'm talking right now, I don't have a reason why I'm saying what I'm saying. I just know to say it. There's a knowing. Power has knowing. Control has thinking. Control is of the mind, of the monkey mind. Power is of the divine. There's nothing like it. You say rain and it rains. You say snow and it snows. You say I love you and that love is penetrated to the other person. And the boundaries are very strong. They're very intentional.
Let me just interrupt you for a minute because that sounds like I'm just in the listening of people, right? And I know, wouldn't that be great to say sunshine and the clouds go away, or to say rain and it rains? But I don't have that experience on earth that I'm capable of doing that.
Yes.
Even though I try. I do try from time to time.
You do and you don't have it. You have it starting to generate in you, but go ahead.
But a lot of people, that's like, what? That's never going to happen.
Yep.
Which I think if we all get that we are pure energy and we come from source, anything really is possible. And that may be something that you don't even care about. Maybe you just want to have the ability to say, I want to make X amount of dollars. I want my business to grow to this level. I want to meet the love of my life. Like the things that are important to you, you want to be able to say that and have them happen, which that's possible too, through power.
Yes.
Not control.
Yes, as long as it's timed. Because if you are not ready to receive it, source will not bring it to you.
Right. Right. So what do you think? I know we talked to...
Let me say one more thing on that. The wants start to disappear, by the way.
The wants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really don't want anything because the ego wants.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to let you ask your question, and then I want to go back to the boundaries, and then I want to talk about body image really quick.
Well,
too.
yeah, like the ego wants to be comfortable and everything to be perfect. So that's why it would ask for it to rain or to ask for the sun to come out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So not for the greater good of all that we need the rain. They'd be asking for it because they're hot that day.
So if a soul comes to me and says, you know, let's say I'm working with Keri's soul and she's in pain, I'll get the message. What she needs is love. So I download love. Right? If you are in lack somewhere, I can download abundance. I can call in the energetic codes, the energetic key codes of whatever it is that you need so that you can receive what you need. And my job is to clear what's in the way. But I know what you need by what I'm feeling or sensing or hearing or getting from the divine. And if you are like, hey, Sarah, I want to make $100,000 this month, and your soul looks at me and goes, we're going to do 25,000, because that's where her frequency is.
Yep.
That's what she can handle. And it's designed to trigger something really deep in her, a deep fear that she has to heal.
And it could be the opposite too.
Oh, it could be the total opposite. All of a sudden, the whole thing opens. Some clients will text me and go, oh my God, I just made, 20 grand today and I was making 5. And some clients will text me and go, what the fuck just happened? My whole life just fell apart, Sarah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can you trust? It all depends on your energetic agreement with your, it's like a pre-written agreement. You came in this life already knowing, already writing your story. My job is I can also override some of that story. I can literally change your destiny and your karma as long as I get permission. That's part of my gift as a magician. That's the magic, right? I no longer want to be in this relationship, Sarah. Please help me get out. I feel like I'm trapped. Okay, let me look at your energetic agreement. Okay, can I override this agreement? No, there's too much karma here. Or no, this person has a very, big lesson. But what I can do is help you feel love for that person, help you forgive that person, help you become free in that way. And then another thing may be, yeah, sure, I can open that door for you. This is an old karma. Let me clear that for you. But the timing is everything because the human has to be ready for what's coming their way.
So can we, I just kind of want to go in I want to move this direction a little bit, which is, the buzzword right now, manifesting.
Yes.
Right? And I love this conversation because people struggle so hard with it. And I've talked about it on other podcasts.
Yep.
So there's
Sorry. Go ahead.
manifesting.
I'm listening.
Everybody wants to manifest more money, the love of their life, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So there's the manifest, I want to manifest. And then they are upset when they don't, and they don't know what to do in that space of, I couldn't do it. And what I've said before is that you weren't in the same vibration as that thing.
Yep.
One, but also the second thing is you weren't ready for what it, maybe it's coming a year from now. Maybe it's coming tomorrow instead of today. But what a lot of people do is they believe. And then they're like, well, it didn't happen. And they quit believing. And it could be that very next day or 2 days later that it was going to happen. But by very nature, they stopped believing. So can we
Because
touch
the
on
belief,
that?
the belief is circumstantial. Mm-hmm. It's bullshit. It's not real faith.
Right.
That's control.
Manifest. I knew it would come back to control. I love it.
Manifestation is power.
Yeah.
So when you access power, which is my work, I help clear all the control. Mm-hmm. I help clear all the karma of the ego.
Yeah.
All of it. Depends on how long you want to be on this journey with me. It could take 3 years. It could take 10 years. It could take 3 days.
Yeah.
It depends on how evolved the soul is and what the karma and agreement is with me.
Yep.
But someone like you will be on this journey with me for a long time.
Because as I told you in the beginning, I got a lot of shit to clear.
Well, also it's more of like you're seeking to become who you are so deeply. Mm-hmm. You're willing to shed so deeply. You're willing to stay open, which we talked about last night, even though you can feel resistance.
Yeah.
Even though you're afraid, even though it doesn't make sense to you at times, even though you feel like it may not be working, because that's what real faith is. Mm-hmm. But then bam, 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 bam. All of a sudden, one day, like you're saying, everything clicks.
Yeah.
That's what happened for me. It was never going to happen. My life was going through fucking hell. I went through so much pain, and that is not what all people have to go through, by the way. I say I went through it so others don't have to.
Yeah.
Keri, you've been through all that trauma so that others don't have to go through it. But if you have gone through a hardship or many, there is a reason for it. And in the end, if you can keep your faith and you can keep moving towards your goal consistently, consistency equals everything working in your favor. But we give up on ourselves so easily. Yeah. Humanity is so lazy. They're so afraid. You become so afraid, or maybe not you, but someone around you, and you watch it. Like, I never give up. Mm-hmm. Ever. I will never give up. I see it with my family. You know, I have Jason, and I met 5 years ago, and his boys, and we have had so many hardships. We have fought so deeply for humanity. I always say we are the royal family. We're the Incredibles. We have fought so deeply. And we never give up. And the love, if you go look at our photos, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can sense it. And they're not even my kids, but they're my kids because they have fallen so deep in love with me. And they have their own mom, but they have fallen so deep in love with me because it's so legitly real. And I'm not leaving. I'm not running. I'm not quitting. And I've wanted to a million times. Yeah. And the beauty and just my business alone grew 10 times when I met Jason. Mm-hmm. Because the love is so rich and it's so real, and we're willing to feel all of that pain and be so intimate and so connected. You know, there's nothing to hide in our family.
That's awesome.
That's power.
Yeah.
There's nothing to hide. We're all hiding. We're so embarrassed about this or embarrassed about that. We have to hide. We have to hide our addictions. We have to hide. We shouldn't have to hide. We should be willing to expose ourselves and be so real and so vulnerable that everyone looks at us like we're crazy, to realize that we're not. We are the most sane ones who are walking around because we're real.
Yeah. And willing to
And
shed
manifestation happens in those moments, guys. You want to manifest the love? piece of cake in those moments. You want to manifest financially a successful business, piece of cake. People are seeking authenticity. They're seeking powerful people. That's why people all the time say, I don't know why I'm sending you money right now to work on my soul, but I'm going to send it because I feel it.
Yeah.
They can feel my realness. You can smell it a mile away. I cannot hide anything.
I don't know if I can smell it.
But we are sensory humans.
Yes.
We have our senses, right? And so we can see it, we can hear it, we can smell it, we can sense it.
Yeah.
When something is right, when something is real, manifestation is so easy. We make it so hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. And then I think the other thing people put their attention on is the failure of it rather than the beauty in the moment. And that's something I've been practicing a lot, is even in my worst moments, seeing the beauty in the moment. Like, okay, well, what is this about? Where is the beauty right here? Because life is messy and life is hard. And I think, like we were talking about the ego is what wants it to be simple and easy and like have everything that we want.
Yep.
That's not actually what your soul wants. Your soul does not want you to have everything that you want. That's not why you're on the planet.
No, because our
ego
wants
does.
are from the ego.
Totally.
Yeah.
Your ego wants to be comfortable. Like the air conditioning is not just right. I need to turn it. The
Right.
sound is not just right. The circumstances aren't just right. I need this person to interact with me in a different way. I didn't like the way that they did that.
Right. However, when we fully emerge and as we begin to uncover who we are, we have more come to us than we can imagine.
Yeah.
Because life, it is hard until it's not.
Yeah.
I don't experience life as hard. Ever.
I still do.
Even when it's hard. Even now, moving pain, right. But I don't,
I still do from
I don't
time to
experience that because the trust is so rich.
Yeah.
It's so solidified for me at this point.
Yeah, I get that about you.
That you're just like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
if the curtain fell right now or the mic fell, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We move on. We pick it up.
So let's talk about actually what you do for people.
Okay.
Because I know at this point people are, feeling your vibration and maybe they're interested or maybe they've clicked off, and either one is fine.
Yeah.
So
You better get back on though. No, I'm kidding.
so
There's control.
exactly. It rears its ugly head. So talk to us about how can people start to work with you? How can you help people?
Yep.
What is your journey? What kind of people do you help best? If that's a good question. Like what?
Yeah.
I know you can help anyone.
I prefer to help those who are open,
was just gonna
ready,
say.
and willing because it's less painful for my body. It took me a long time. Let me talk about prices first. It took me a lot, and then I'm going to work backwards because there's no right way of doing this. It's organic, and I'm led to work backwards for a reason because the most resistance that people have is around money. It took me a long time to decide how much, even though I don't decide, my soul truly does give me the number every time. How much am I going to charge for the agreement with the person? And how do I gauge that? And it took me a long time to realize that it had to do with how much shit am I willing to move for that person and how much is that going to cost them? Because this was a hard job. It was a very painful experience for me. Now, if I move pain, it's not hard. But I've moved big shit for people. And if someone comes to me and they're dealing with a negative force that's around their life, I basically fight that force in the unseen. And I bring the highest light and I remove all that's in the way for them. That's a big effing job for someone who is clear sentient, who can feel on levels that no one else can. I can feel if my dog needs to go to the bathroom. It's real. I can feel if Jason has a headache before he has a headache, and I know how to stop it. I can feel if someone texts me what they're dealing with that they don't even know they're dealing with. So my price, my fees They are soul aligned, and they depend on the situation and the agreement and how big that situation is and how much work I have to put in. Now, with that said, on Instagram, I run what I call energetic remote upgrades. Sorry, I got to move something. These upgrades are on my story most of the time. I offer them most of the time weekly, and they are different. They're different things. Might be this past week, it was on cutting cords, removing any attachments, any hooks, any connections karmically that you've been feeling that you're ready to let go of. A couple of weeks ago, it was on money and manifestation and wealth and having energetic upgrades for that. This is remote only. If I put it on Instagram, let's say it's $1.99, you send the money to Venmo, I work energetically. You don't speak to me. We don't do a call. I work strictly with your soul, your energy body, your emotional body, physical body, mental body, whatever it is that upgrade is. And I know exactly what to do.
Can I pause you for a minute?
Yes.
So that's how I first started working with you. And that requires trust. Back to the trust thing.
Yeah.
Right?
It starts with trust and it ends with trust
Yeah.
with me.
Because you may not see. So I'm someone who's worked with lots of healers over the years, right? Mm-hmm. And so if someone's listening and they've worked with healers over the years, you know what to expect. You know how much they're going to charge you. You have a call. They walk you through what they're doing for you. And you have that connection so you know, okay, that work got done. Right? Then working with Sarah is completely different and a little like jarring at first for me.
Yes. Yeah. It can be.
There's like, hey, your soul just came to me and wants this energetic upgrade. It's this much money. Venmo me. I'm going remote. And I'm like,
and I'm out of communication.
And I'm like, but what are you doing? And like, that's a lot of money. And what are you doing for that money? And you never know.
A lot of people may feel like it's a scam.
Well, I think that's going on because of our distrust, but also there are other people on Instagram. I know I get these DMs and they're like, you have a beautiful, bright light and so much good in the world. But then I see this blockage on your third chakra and I can help you remove it. Have you seen those people? Mm-mm. Really?
No, but I'm going to clear your Instagram because there's some karma there for you.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't get
but
any of that.
There are several people that have, maybe 5 different ones that have reached out and said like all these amazing things about me. And then I'm like, thank you. Yes, thank you. But there's this like deep pain in your heart chakra that if we removed it, it would like really brighten you or whatever. And so I think that's a new thing that's come along.
Yeah. People will say, is this Sarah?
That also creates the distrust because then.
Well, there's a lot let me say this really quick, guys. Just so you know, spiritually, I don't trust any of it. Just to be very clear, like I don't work with any spiritual healers. I don't work with any healers because the spiritual realm is very tainted. It's got the muck of humanity's bullshit in it. Real connection to spirituality has nothing but light, nothing but good. So if you do not feel that pull, know on some level that I'm your person, do not bother contacting me.
Right.
Also, you may not feel it. You may have a block. You may not feel much at all. Your clear sentient channels may not be open. If you are looking to have your channels opened, you work with me. If you are looking to grow your company, you work with me. If you are looking to grow a family, you work with me. If you're looking to get pregnant, you work with me. If you're looking to have better sex and have orgasms, you work with me. If you are looking to become lighter, brighter, more efficient, more effective, more aligned, better, and really tap into who you are, you work with me. But
and I also want to point to, if I can just interrupt you, Sarah.
Please.
I also want to say that if, you know how Sarah just said, if that's not you, you don't work with me. It may not be you right this minute.
Yes.
But you may have a thought in your head a week from now or a month from now. And you may think, what was that thing I listened to? Who was that girl again? I need to go back. So don't worry. We'll have all of Sarah's information in the show notes. So you don't even have to re-listen to it.
A lot of people will come to me in later stages and say, I got a message in my sleep that I'm supposed to work with you, right? Or
Totally.
if you're meant to work with me at some point, thank you for saying that.
It'll happen.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
You cannot escape this. This is a soul agreement. Your soul overrides your personality, guys. Your soul is the best, highest version of you. And your soul is who's guiding you through everything, whether you're conscious of it or not, whether you're fighting it or not. It's the human who really needs the healing.
And then I also want to point out that, so as people are getting clear, working with you is different than working with anyone else, working with most mainstream people, because there may be times where for me, I'm just going to share about myself. Yeah. There may be times where I'm experiencing that I need a lot. And so my soul tells you, she needs a lot of work.
Yeah.
And
or
then there
something
are times,
specific, but yeah.
Yeah. Or something specific. And then there's like a time I don't hear from you for a few weeks. And so there's not like that intensity.
There's no agreement in those moments.
And then for some people, I assume, like I know that I'm on a deep journey and I am into completing things fast and deep now. Like I don't have time to waste.
At no cost. When I say at no cost, like it's your number one priority.
It's my number one priority in life, because I know that if I can become more of a clear vessel, I can give more to my people. So
everything.
I can provide way more for my clients, way more for the people listening to the podcast, way
more for your family,
for my family, for everyone who comes into contact with me, right? But other people may not be on that journey, and that's awesome too. So some people may just have this one little issue that they want to resolve, and that's fine.
Some people I'll work with one time and do a remote. Some people I'll do an agreement. They'll message me, and this is the other way that you guys can send me a message, private message me and say, hey, look, like I feel like I may need a lot of work, or I feel like I want to get on a call with you. So my fees for private calls are much more than my fees for remote work. Some people need one remote upgrade on their hair, looking better, getting thicker.
Should we work on my hair?
I work on your hair. That something's off with your kidneys, or you just don't feel good. And I say, hey, look, like I know you messaged me to do a healing. I'm working on your health, and I'm going to do a series of 8 upgrades, and I'm going to work on your liver, on your colon, on your spleen, on your kidneys, on your bladder, blah, blah, blah. This is going to be the price. The price is completely different than what it is on my page. If I say on my story, hey, I'm offering a health upgrade today, it's $222, and you sign up and I send you a message and say, hey, look, I'm working on you. There's a lot more work to do here. This is what I'm going to work on. This is going to be the price. Are you in? It's remote, or hey, this is what I'm going to work on. Are you in? And we're going to do one call tomorrow at 3:00. Can you make it?
I just want to point to that also, because I know a lot of people listening have hired coaches before.
Yeah.
That's like a familiar thing.
Yes.
And this may not be a familiar thing.
Yes.
Right? A lot of people have like gone to a psychic before.
Yeah.
And they've had like an hour meeting with a psychic to see if they should make this business decision or not. That's not Sarah.
No.
For me, I think what would be good for you to think about is put her maybe closer to the coaching department. Doesn't mean a coach like you're going to talk to her every week and she's going to give you advice on how to run your business or anything. But I mean a coach because a lot of people put expendable income into the coaching segment.
Yes.
Which does help. I love coaches. I think coaching is very powerful. And healing yourself at a spiritual level can be more impactful.
It is more impactful.
Than hiring
I'm going to be
coach.
honest.
Yes. I know. I just said that for lightness.
No, you're nicer than I am. The coaching industry serves a purpose. It has a lot going on. It serves a purpose. You have to be mindful. I coach, I guide, I support, I heal, I teach, I lead. I am whoever you need me to be for you to go where you need to go. My work, I literally morph into whoever you need me to be. I am here to serve you. I am here to support you. I am here to help you evolve and literally shed the old ways, and then show you the way that where you're meant to go. So if you do coaching calls with me and support work, you will receive a huge amount of clarity on the direction that you're meant to go in. If you are heading even remotely the tiniest little, if you're off even the tiniest bit, I will know it. I will feel it. I will sense it. If you're looking to, again, open your channels, if you're looking to get healthier, whatever it is, I can upgrade. My job is to enhance your frequency. My job is to bring you to more alignment and more consciousness. So I do work with private people, and I do have clients that I talk to 3 times a week, every week, for a year, for 8 months, for a month. Those prices are much higher because I work on them daily. I work with their families. I work with the food that they ingest. I work with their hair products. I work with their skin products. I work with how they communicate on their podcasts, what their containers, energetic containers look like for their company, their programs, their courses. I can upgrade anything and everything, make it clean, make it clear, make it crisp, make it healthy, make it vibrant, and make it more successful, more aligned. So I think the best way for you guys to reach me is this. On Instagram, if you're going to do remote work, you can private message me if you want a series of remote work, if you think that there's more work for you to do, if you want to do some calls. If you are looking for higher end private work, you will send me an email to love, LOVE 555, Sarah with an H, at gmail.com.
Awesome. So thank you.
Thank you.
I could thank you on so many levels. Thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for the work you do on me and my family. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry. Thank you. You're such a gift to humanity. And I'm so grateful for you.
I'm so grateful for you.
And
you're welcome.
For me, this podcast is about coming out also, because it's about sharing with everybody who's listening. One of my, secret weapons in life is Sarah Love, and she can be your secret weapon as well. I mean that in a kind, gentle, loving way.
Yeah. People have actually called me their secret weapon. I have a testimonial where someone's wrote that who made, I had her first 100K month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate, so I wanted to bring her to you. So if you're listening to this and this resonates with you, reach out to her. If it doesn't, that's okay too. The time's not right for you. And it may be in the future. And you have to trust that, because it's sort of like when people reach out to me to redesign their wardrobe and there's a little hesitation, I always tell them, don't hire me. It's not right.
Yeah. Because
it's a vulnerable thing to give your self over to me to redesign your wardrobe. I'll create miracles, but you got to be vulnerable and be ready.
Yeah.
And if there's a little hesitation, put it on hold until you have certainty that it's working, because the level of trust you need to work with Sarah is a lot and it's deep. And if there's an ounce of uncertainty, the timing's probably not right, and come back to it when it is.
Yes. Or
press through it.
Yeah. Or on some level that you need to overcome it, because this resistance is just your way of life and you're ready to destroy it. Ultimately, you're ready to just tear down that wall. Because a lot of these walls, really quick, and I know we got to go. Yeah. These resistance walls and control walls are what is in the way of the life that you desire. So a lot of people say, I want this, I want that, I want this. Well, are you really willing to do the work to get what you want? Because we need to earn it, guys.
Yeah.
We get gifts from the universe when we earn the right to those gifts. And if we're getting gifts and we don't earn it, they will not last. Right. I promise you. Last thing, intuition. If you're looking for your intuition to grow and develop, that is where I come in as well. That's really important because intuition is everything. If you have intuition, you know exactly where to go. You know how to get there. You know what you need to do. You know what you need to say. There's no doubt. There's no questioning.
Yeah.
You are in charge of your own destiny.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening. And as a gift for you listening, I have recently created a new guide to fall fashion because now here we are in fall and people don't know how to incorporate the trends. So I've put it in the show notes. You can access the free guide to your fall trends. And by the way, we're doing something also that I've never in my life done before, but I was led to do, which is that while I was doing the fall trends, I came up with probably 120 different clickable links of items I would purchase for myself or clients to incorporate the trends into your fall wardrobe. And there's access to that as well. I think we put a price tag of $49 on it, which is crazy because I spent at least 5 hours putting this list together. And it is something that would cost you thousands and thousands of dollars to hire a stylist to do for you. So those will both be in the show notes. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you next time.
And you guys, whatever she's selling, make sure you buy because she is the fashion queen. I do not have a fashion sense. Well, that's not true. I have fashionable clothes, but I tend to be very natural, very go with the flow. Whatever I throw on works. And since I've been with you, I've been really like watching how she dresses, even to go for our walk today. You know, I just like threw on the shorts that I wore to bed and like this little shirt. I'm always like, I don't care how much money I make. I'm just going to look like this. But I love how you're always, you know how to dress. You know what you need to wear. You know how you want to present yourself. And I think that is, she's here to teach me that more. It's really not an area that I'm strong in. And I know that this is your strength. And I think for your audience, it's really important that you guys step into what she has to offer you. Her prices are so low. You will not get that with me. And you bring beauty. That's what you're bringing to them, and to feel good and to look good. And I just want you to be able to say that really powerfully.
Awesome.
Because you bring so much information to people. And I feel like if I say something about you and the way that you are and what you have to offer, they will be even more intrigued because I'm fully in my power, in my voice.
I love it.
And it's time.
I love
you guys.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you. Have an awesome day. Talk to you next time.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.